One of the first items we want to discuss when considering additional accessories or other PPE components are a PFD. So a lot of the cold water submersion suits have varying levels of buoyancy, as well as your dry suits. But one of the important considerations that we're advocates of is adding a PFD to your personal complement of gear. Remember that when you're approaching the victim, you want to create as much buoyancy as you possibly can, because typically speaking, that victim may or may not have a PFD or buoyancy applications of their own. So the more buoyant you are, the more viable you're going to be in the water, supporting and sustaining the weight of that victim, and bringing that victim in from that open area on the ice back to the bank or a point of safety. One of the other things that you need to consider when you're adding a PFD to your complement is that it may alter or impact the attachment points that are integrated into your suit for tending lines that are attached to you. So just remember that you've got the integrated straps in the PFDs, if it's an appropriate PFD, where you can rig your 10 lines in directly to the PFD. If you choose or elect not to use the PFD, then you have two basic options. If you have a suit that has integrated anchored straps that are appropriate for rigging for tag lines, then use them as designed. If not, then you're going to utilize a section of 1-inch tubular webbing or flat webbing to formulate basically an X harness for your upper torso. You can then put an appropriate water-based carabiner, a non-locking carabiner, onto that segment of webbing and utilize that as your attachment point for your tend lines. You also want to make sure that you wear an appropriate helmet. So helmets sometimes get bypassed in the ice environment, but it's a very, very important piece of gear, particularly in ice, because of the likelihood of slipping, falling, and striking your head. Ensure that the water helmet that you're using is rated for water type rescue applications, that it has a weeping ability so the water can flow through it, and that it also has that impact resistance, as well as a 3-point or 2-point chin harness type of attachment. And then, as always, we're always advocates of making sure that you have a throw bag or some type of throwing or reaching device with your person as part of your personal rescuer equipment. As we add our accoutrement with our personal accessories, we want to make sure that we get our hood component on, zipped all the way up. We're going to don our helmets, and then we want to make sure that we've got our isols so that we've got that personal escape or personal movement component. John, will you go ahead and hand me the isols? There are manufactured isols. There are also homemade isols. You can make them any number of ways, or you can buy the manufactured applications. Either way, they typically have a tether strap keeping the two components together, and you want to measure this tether strap out so that it's commensurate with your arm lengths and what's appropriate for you to jog these across the ice and manage your movement if you fall through the ice hole. We typically drape these around our necks, keep them in a secured position around the front sides of our bodies. You do have to watch these piercing points and ensure that they don't contact your body and cause bodily harm or rip your suit. So be conscientious about these if you're utilizing them.